we are doing water with experiments with water, and we have completed so many experiments. Today we will start page number 63, where a little bit we have explained it also. Now I'm not audible. Is it now I am audible? Okay. Huh? Now it is a magic. Okay, so when Aisha woke up in the morning, Ammi had fever, and Abu made some tea and went to get medicine, and then he has instructed little bit to the Aisha. What he has instructed, he told Aisha, you boil egg, also put some salt in the water. Aisha took water in a pot. By mistake she put too much salt in the water, and she saw the eggs at the bottom of the pot come up a little and start to float in the water. So what is the phenomena behind it? Why it happened? Secondly, take some water in a glass, put a lemon in it. Now keep putting salt in the water, half a spoon at a time. Where able to float your lemon in the water? When do you think the lemon floated in the salty water? Because so there are so many question arises here. Whatever the Aisha observed, do you have observed any time when the you can do this experiment? And if I'll get chance after the chapter, I will show you few kinds of experiment related to this. So she has taken a bowl and she put some salt, but instead of some salt she has put a little bit more salt. So the water became, what happened when we are giving in a water, suppose in a glass of water, at first we are giving half a spoon of salt. Okay, so we are giving the salt. This salt will intermingle with this water, isn't it? So it will make it denser. Then again we will give the salt, half a spoon salt. Again it will more denser. So when this water will become too much denser, or you can say it will disperse the whatever the amount of water dispersing by the egg. Actually the weight of that water was less than the egg, that's why egg was sinking down. But when we are making this water denser, that means thicker thing always heavier, so the denser water is always heavier. So the amount of water which is being now displaced by the egg, that weight is more than the weight of the egg. That's why the egg will become float on the water. Understood? I have explained you whenever and how much water is displaced by the object, the amount of that water, of the weight of that displaced water, or the water which has been given to the another side or displaced, that amount of water, the weight of that amount of water, if more than the object, then the object will float. This was the phenomena. So now the same amount, when we are giving the egg inside the water, the egg is sinking inside the water. Why it is sinking? Because the amount of the water which is displaced by the egg, that amount of water's weight is less than the egg weight. That's why the egg becomes sink down. Understood? But in the another case, we are putting salt in the water, so the water become heavier because it become denser. When we are keeping something before it was only water, but after mixing the salt within the water become thicker and more thicker, isn't it? So it become more denser. When the same amount of water is being displaced by the egg, this water is now heavier than the egg. So the amount of the water, the same amount of water will be displaced by the egg because its shape is same. But in this case, what happens? The amount of water which is being displaced by the egg, that amount of water's weight will become increased and the weight will become more than the egg. So that is the reason the egg will float on the water. Understood? So it will become thicker and it will float on the water. Understood? Now the next question they have given, take some water in a glass, put a lemon in it. Now keep putting salt in the water, half a spoon at a time, when able to float your lemon in the water. At first, when we will take the water and then we will put the lemon inside, suppose this is the lemon we have given, this is inside the water, because the displaced amount of water or the water which are being displaced, this amount of water was, this water is less weight in compared to this lemon. Lemon is having the more weight. But now if we will give the salt, half spoon salt, plus half spoon salt plus half spoon salt, this water will become thicker. This water will become thicker, or you can say thicker means more denser, or the density of this water will become increased. Now what will happen, the amount of water whatever we have will given, this is the thicker water and the salt is there, isn't it? So now we will, what we will see, this lemon will become started to float on the water, because this time the amount of water which it has been displaced, this is the displaced water, it will come down from this beaker. So the displaced water is this weight of this displaced water, this displaced water more than the weight of lemon. Understood? I hope you got the point. If any problem, you can ask me. Okay. So I hope you have understood the phenomena why the lemon will start to float. If the water is becoming thicker and thicker, we will put some salt, then in this case the weight of the displaced water will become, because now the displaced water is more heavier due to the density, due to the mixing of the salt, the water will become heavier. Now the amount of water which has been displaced from this beaker is more heavier or having the more weight than the lemon. Now the lemon will become started to float. Clear to you? Do you have any problem? You can ask me. Now next, if we will see, next question is, take some water in a glass. So the first answer started to float on the water. You can write the answer. Started, first answer, page 63. Started to float. And the answer to the question is given here. What do you think the lemon floated in the salty water? Yes, it will started because, write down, because the water become thicker, means denser, and this is the, and thus the lemon Does the lemon started to float? Okay, so the answer 2 is answer 2 is as the lemon is now the dispersed water amount or the weight of the dispersed water is more than the lemon, now the lemon will start to float. So I have written because the water become thicker or denser, thus the lemon started to float. Don't write and thicker, thus the lemon started to float. Now what about the Dead Sea? So do you know the location of the Dead Sea? Where is the Dead Sea? Dead Sea is actually present. It is a salty sea. Salty sea means there is a amount of salt is too much. So due to the amount of the salt or due to the excessive presence of the salt, Dead Sea is known as the this is known as the Dead Sea, because no living organism can survive inside the sea. No one can survive inside this water. This is too much denser or excessive salty water present in this sea. Clear? So why it is called the Dead Sea? Because yes, it is a Jordan Ocean, or you can say to the east of this sea, Jordan is present, and in the west of this ocean, the Israel is actually present. So due to this, these two countries are actually in the Central Asia, and you can the southern Central Asia. So here it is a sandy land, and you can say it is a torrid zone, and it is a too excessive hotty place. So in these hot places, the water which comes to this ocean from the Jordan River, it is being evaporated so fast, because there is too much hot and the sun is always shining in this place. So in this hot place, the water become evaporated, or the water become evaporate so easily, the water become evaporated so fast. And we know salt is not a volatile thing, or salt is not at all volatile. Volatile means which cannot changes into vapor form. What changes into vapor form? Water can changes into vapor form. So water changes into vapor form, but whatever the amount of the salt that remain in the sea. So this is the reason, due to the excessive heat, water become evaporated gradually and very fast, whereas the salt remain in the sea. So the amount of the water which is remaining in the sea, it becomes so thick, and salt is excessive in the sea. Understood? That is the reason the salt is too much in the sea. The other reasons, water is being evaporated but not so fast, and in this reason, it is very hot region, and whatever the water is mixing with this ocean, they become evaporated very easily and very quickly. That's why the salt amount, or the amount of the salt, is too much in this ocean. That's why it is called the Dead Sea, or the name of this sea is actually Dead Sea. So all ocean and the sea have the salty water. The saltiest of all, it is the Dead Sea. How salty? Imagine 300 gram of the salt in 1 liter of water. So suppose you are bringing a liter water from the shop, and you are seeing within this water 300 gram salt is there. So it is too much amount of salt. That is too much salty in taste. It would be bitter sometimes, and interestingly, even if a person does not know any swimming, that person will float on that ocean. In this ocean, nothing can sink inside the river, because it is too salty, it is too heavier, water is too heavy, it can resist everywhere. So the surfing of the water, playing on the water, all thing is available, and people go there for their entertainment, because when you are just laying down on this ocean, on this sea, you will never sink down. You can enjoy your ride on the water. So it is a very different kind of sea, and this water is actually blackish in color. Even a pinch of thing cannot go inside. This is totally without having any living organism. That's why this sea is called the Dead Sea. Understood? So people go there for their, sometimes they go for the treatment. Have you seen the persons who are having the arthritis and other kind of diseases, they go there for their treatment. This water is useful for them. Now we will write the questions. Yes, what is it? Euthin. Okay. Now what dissolve and what does not? On Sunday, Aisha's cousin brother Hamid came to her house to play. As soon as he came, he asked his aunt to make his favorite shakar para, and Ammi said, "Let me come back from the market, then I'll make something for you. So why don't you help me? Take 2 glasses of water, put a bowl of sugar in it, mix it till it dissolve." Hamid thought, "Let me finish this work, then I will watch the TV." And there are, so it is given, suggest some ways, Hamid, for quickly dissolving the sugar. Can you suggest some ways? Who is writing this all kind of personal things? Don't write. Shakar para means have you seen the namkeen or goja? Actually, shakar para means goja. In Bengali, we say them goja. Okay, so that need the chashni, the sugar water. So, can you suggest anything for the quick heating the sugar with the water? Yes, it is very good. Stirring and heating sugar, Shivam is correct. Heating the sugar with the water is a very quick way. Then we can stir them, we can shake them. By this way, we can just make the sugar very easily. We can just dissolve them. Now, next part, turn over the page, page 64. Do this experiment. Make 4 and okay. Make group of 4 and friends for the experiment. You will need 4-5 glasses or bowls, spoon, water, and the things listed in the table. Take some water in each glass. Now dissolve one thing in one glass. Observe that what happened and note in the table. Right now we can, when you know all these things, you will do at home, and I'm writing the observations, so you will write it. Okay, so you just go through and write in the book. First one is page 64. Things, did it dissolve or not? Things. Okay. Dissolve. Not. What happened? So the first one is salt. Salt, what would happen? Yes, it will dissolve. Salt and water get mixed together. Salt and water get mixed together. Okay. And water remain transparent. So this is the first one. Salt and water get mixed together and water remain transparent. Number 2, soil. So yes, it will dissolve, but what happened? Salt settled down after at the bottom. Soil settled down at the bottom, and water become muddy. Chalk with the water. We will write, but the time is getting over. So write fast. Write this fast. Okay, and the next we will do in the next class. Only chalk we will write more. Chalk again, yes, it will become dissolved, but chalk powder at first mixed at first mixed, then settled down. Water become white. And the spoon, fourth one is 1 spoon milk. It will also, yes, completely mixed. Completely mixed, whereas oil will not mix at all. Okay, so that's all for the day. You just write down and do it in your copy. So complete in your copy and write down. That's all for the day. Have a nice day, and please copy it down in your book. Okay, the last one, oil, you know, you will write it down by your own. What will happen to the oil? Oil will actually not mix it, it will float on the water. Okay, yes, thank you, and please give your presence so that I can take your attendance. Thank you.